Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to a special edition of the Garden Report.
Pre-game, let's go. Let's get it.
Pre-game before Celtics Suns. Whether you're watching before or after the game, we all know what happened by now. Kyrie Irving requested a trade
He wants out
this afternoon from the Brooklyn Nets. Last game he played, potentially in a Nets uniform, that blowout on Wednesday here in this building. I obviously caught his post-game. Not apparent that anything was wrong. He was actually talking about building up toward the chemistry and connection that the Celtics have, but apparently it's a contract.
Yeah.
And we all knew that would eventually become a boiling point between him and the team. They didn't want to offer him that max in the offseason. He takes the player option, and now reportedly they gave him an offer that he didn't deem satisfactory. So is this it for Irving in Brooklyn, or do you think there'll be some concessions made to try to keep this together?
If I was a betting man, Bobby, I think this is it. I think the only reason I'm hesitant is finding that trading partner, right? There are teams out there looking to elevate their squad, teams that are sort of in the playoff picture 100%, but not quite sure if they're championship material, so to speak, right? I mean, whether you're talking East Coast, West Coast, there's teams in the mix, especially in the West, the Wild Wild West, right? I mean, it's competitive, it changes every few weeks, but a lot of those teams, they're sort of uncertain. So maybe someone like Kyrie Irving puts them over the hump. So I do think there's going to be attention towards the Nets and teams trying to put together their best offers, but do the Brooklyn Nets bite? I mean, they have to really be careful here, Bobby. I mean, you don't want to make the wrong move or not get enough, and all of a sudden you're in a tough spot with the cap. You know, Ben Simmons, his contract is still on there between Kevin Durant. I mean, that's a lot of money, but this could be their way to sort of, fluctuate what they have with the roster and improve the roster for the next couple of years using that Kyrie trade. How they do it, how they go about it, should be interesting.
We'll hear from Kevin Durant soon enough, I'm sure, his camp, and see where this leads him if they do end up trading Irving. Because that's the big decision the Nets have to make here, is that if they move on from Irving, it's probably effectively over for Durant in Brooklyn, and you're rebuilding. And you don't have any of your future picks. You talked about the Simmons implications. It's a tough decision to make, but you could also go out now and trade Irving, trade Durant, get a ton back, and take a step back and try to figure out what you're going to do next with some other teams' picks potentially. It's just tough because you don't have your own picks. Houston will be doing backflips.
That's true. See, that's the thing, Bobby. It's tough when you look at it like that. So it's, I'm sure they'll have that itch, wondering if maybe they should just blow the whole thing up. But do you waste these Durant years? I mean, I know he's hurt right now. I know, his future in Brooklyn is somewhat uncertain when you look at the way things are being, everything is played out around him. But if he comes back, you're able to make that, again, some sort of deal that can bolster your roster, couple it with Durant, and you just do your best to put together the run that you were hoping was going to be this year with Kyrie playing the way he's been playing. And that's another thing, too. I see, part of me feels like a lot of this has to do with, obviously, the contract. Kyrie wanted that extension, at least that was the report, and that's that came out, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? And I feel like he thought that the play he's been doing right now, the numbers, all that, the stats is going to be enough. But it's not. I mean, Brooklyn is just not certain if they want to move forward with him. And, again, there's other teams in the mix that I think could really use someone like Kyrie when they fall short of championship aspirations, including the team that's practicing behind us. I mean, the Phoenix Suns. Do you think the Suns, a team like the Suns, adding Kyrie Irving to that, couldn't push them over the hump? I mean, they've been having a tough season just trying to find that chemistry. Maybe Kyrie is the guy that can really help them offensively, or at least for this season, to make that push. I mean, do you trade Chris Paul? I wouldn't go there, but if you can put together your best trade package without including Chris Paul, I think it's worth something exploring if you're the Phoenix Suns.
It's compelling because there is a 3-team trade that works between the Lakers, the Suns, the Nets.
Lakers already calling, Bob. You know that. I mean, they're just like, LeBron, I mean, you're telling me he wouldn't appreciate a reunion right now with the way things are going on in L.A.? I mean, like, that's probably one of the, if not the top option, or at least top team that's going to be calling Brooklyn.
It's a no-brainer, but you're getting Russell Westbrook back if you're Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, right. And it's like Russell, but what else you got? I mean, they know that part,
Those 2 picks are enticing, but that's so far in the future. If this could become a bigger deal with, like you said, Phoenix behind us, they want to shake things up. Ayton goes to Brooklyn. We talked about that over the offseason. Mikal Bridges.
Those are 2 big
the Nets
pieces.
would love and build around potentially.
Because you don't want to trade Chris Paul, right? Like, this whole thing has been about Chris Paul, right? And one way or another, it's been about Chris Paul. And what I mean by that too is, if you trade Chris Paul, how much better are you? I just feel like he can really galvanize this team. Chris Paul, right? He galvanizes this team, can motivate them to make that push, especially when you have another top tier scorer or top tier scorer in Kyrie Irving.
Let's say you're getting Irving and Durant if you're Phoenix. Do you send Chris Paul to LA in that case, and that satisfies LA?
No, you send everyone, Bobby. I mean, if that's in play, then yeah, I think Phoenix would absolutely do that.
That's the trade I'm looking for. Normally, 3-team trade, all these names moving around, you're like, this is too crazy. But we just saw Simmons.
See, Bobby, you got the 3 columns going in the trade machine, huh?
We saw Simmons trade for Harden a year ago. That seemed unthinkable.
Right.
I think there's a world where Paul ends up on the Lakers, maybe with Jay Crowder, Ayton, Bridges, Westbrook, and Brooklyn with a ton of picks. Maybe all of Phoenix's future picks.
They need that $10 million from Crowder's contract for sure, and obviously he's not trying to stay around. Okay, but what about in the East? Who you got in the East? Which teams? I got one team in mind that I think would be a wild card, and they could really swoop in there if they have the guts, if they're up for it. For Irving. Which team do you think I'm thinking of?
Is it the Heat?
Yes. They have the piece. They have the organization in terms of whipping them into shape. Pat Riley. I mean, if you're the Heat, you're thinking, man, Milwaukee, Boston, these guys have gotten better. We're sort of in the same picture or same boat that we were a year ago. Why not if you're the Heat?
I know the Heat fans want to dream, but is Brooklyn taking back Kyle Lowry?
They have to. That's the thing. That's the only way. That's the only way it works. Kyle Lowry, young pieces, and draft picks, because Tyler Hero's not going anywhere. So.
Can't rule out Toronto either. Another team.
That's an interesting one.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
They have OG. They can offer Van Fleet. They could even offer Siakam.
If you're Brooklyn, that's probably the best pieces for you, just to sort of build that starting lineup, or at least the pieces around Durant, and kind of go from there. That's not a bad option either.
Hey, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a crazy 6 days, and it starts with Celtics Suns tonight. Of course, Suns mentioned as potential Irving suitors, and many teams starting to make those calls about Durant as well. We'll keep an ear to the ground here.
Yes, definitely. Give us your best deal. We want to see your best trade. Go into the ESPN trade machine or however you go about it. We want to see your best deal and put it in the comment section.
And of course, show our sponsors some love. HelloFresh.com/Garden65 for 65% off your order, as well as free shipping. Great boxes, including vegetarian, meat, fish, any kind of theme you want, or you can customize it, get it at your door, fresh each week. Even if it's not as cold as it is today, it'll be on ice and ready to go. As well as Athletic Greens. AthleticGreens.com/Garden is going to get you 5 free travel packs, including vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more that just go in your water each morning, and a year's supply of vitamin D when you go to athleticgreens.com/garden for free. From TD Garden, Josue Pavone, Bobby Manning, on a crazy day, Kyrie Irving, after that blowout loss to the Celtics on Wednesday, requesting a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. We'll have more tonight on Celtics Postgame.